What up, guys? It's your boy Illinois Valley, and today we are gonna jump into the stamina, stamina, stam, stam, stamina. My eyes are watering. Why are my eyes watering? This is ridiculous. What's going on with my life right now? Woo! Take two. What up, guys? It's your boy Illinois. Oh, that's awkward. COVID. COVID. Whew. Take a breath. I've done build videos before, right? I can do this. I got this. Take three. What up, guys? It's your boy Illinois Valley, and today we're gonna jump into my Stamden build. Stamden's much easier to say, right? Ah, fuck. Stamden, Warden, Stamden. I got Stamden's not. I use Stamden in my titles, right? Yeah. Okay. Take four. That's four, right? That's five? Four? Okay. What up, guys? It's your boy Illinois Valley, and today we're gonna talk about my 2H and bow Stamden. I like that. Okay. I know, I, alright, so, truth be told is that this build hasn't changed much since the last patch. What did change in this build, though, is one of my sets, which just made this build that much better. Chef's kiss. Better, right? So, we're gonna go over it, and, yeah, I changed a few things here and there, but if I'm being 100% honest, I did not do a lot of changes for this build. So, you can watch this one, or you can watch the one from my last patch, which is me memeing the whole time. This build video, however, there will be no memeing, there will be no friends talking. Oh, by the way, how cool is the armory system? Like, we're gonna have to, like, once I get more comfortable with this, we're gonna incorporate this into our build videos. How cool is this? This is cool. This is a cool quality of life change. I like this a lot. I don't like the fact that you gotta use crowns to buy more slots. That's kind of... Anyway, so in this build video, we're gonna do a deep dive into the build. We're not gonna have friends in the background memeing. We're not gonna be doing fights or whatever, but we're gonna do a deep dive into the build. We're gonna talk about things. We're gonna talk about other options, and maybe even talk about switching out one of our sets for vicious death. No, we're not actually gonna do that. However, stay tuned because that might be a thing. Just saying. Alright guys, let's go ahead and jump into that build. Alright guys, I've been asked a few times, Illy, how do you set up that burst combo where it looks like you're one-tapping somebody because it happens so quickly and then they die? How do you do that? Is there a setup to this? And then the question, or the answer is yeah, there is a setup for it. And we're going to talk about it real quick. So for me personally, I like to have Arctic Blast up because what this does is if you're staying on them, and they're trapped in there, that's going to be a 4-second stun. A 4-second window is huge for Stamden for setting up your burst. If you do not get that stun off, like if they're in cooldown, then your second stun will be your Dawnbreaker, of course. And we will get into that a little bit in the build video. But anyway, so the other thing you're going to want to look for is when your Sub-Assault hits about 2.5, which is right now, it'll go off. Your first one will go off. So what you want to do is you want to hit your Dawnbreaker at the same time that first Sub-Assault comes out. And then that second one's going to hit either your Dawnbreaker's got them stunned or your Arctic's got them stunned. So that second one's going to guarantee hit as well, as long as they're stunned, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to have your Arctic up, Sub-Assault, hold your heavy, Dawnbreaker, D-swing, maybe another heavy, and then you're probably going to have an execute, right? And that's the combo. It's actually pretty simple. If you don't get them like with a full combo, it's not a big deal, but you will get players with the full combo, I promise. Alright guys, let's go ahead and jump right into the stats real quick. We're going to do just a soft buff. And now we'll go ahead and pot up real quick. Zero into Magicka, 14 into health, 50 into stam. We are Dark Elf. Our Dark Elf is really good on Warden. Dark Elf is a very underrated race. Once again though, on Warden you could do whatever race you want. We are unfortunately EMP again in this build video. I think this is like the third or fourth one in a row now. Sorry, we technically only have 31k health fully buffed, so just keep that in mind. We are running the Serpent, Vampire 3, which is super good, and we're going to talk about that here real quick. Sugar Skulls for our food, and Continuous. So Vampire 3 paired with our armor, which we're going to jump into right now, which is going to be Pariah. So Pariah, of course, increases your physical resistance and spell resistance by 99.69 based on your missing health, right? So that paired with your Vamp 3 does disgusting things. Roll the clip right here. You can see it's very, very strong to pair these two together, and it's kind of toxic, actually. But when you're outnumbered or 1vxing, that's exactly what you want. Yes, we're sacrificing some weapon damage by not running 2 weapon damage sets, and I don't think we're sacrificing any sustain by not running a sustain set. I think it's a really nice pairing with what we got going on right now, which we're going to jump into the whole build right now. So I know this is very unpleasing to look at when I do it like this, like when I run it like this, because Pariah on your front bar or weapon just doesn't look good. However, Malakath is so important that the best way to do this is to run Pariah here. And of course that means we have to double bar it, which is unfortunate, but again, Pariah with Vamp 3 is so good, and it keeps you alive in fights, and it's something you definitely want to have. We are running poisons on both bars. You do not have to run tri-stat poisons, or the double dot poisons, sorry, not tri-stat. Whatever. It's cool. We are running the double dot poisons. You can run whatever poisons you want here. The point of running poisons on both bars, though, is just to keep that pressure up. Now, I do like to proc Plague Break, which we haven't talked about yet, but we will here in a second. I do like to proc it a lot on my back bar from range, so I'll just kind of be poking at people, get that proc ticking, and then come in with my full combo. You've seen it in plenty of my videos. In fact, roll footage here. So it is really nice to have ranged on the back bar. You can run Sword and Board here, of course. Of course, Sword and Board is OP as fuck when you're in outnumbered situations, but you know me, I'm a 2H and bow guy. It's just my playstyle. It's the way I like to do it. That's why all build videos are suggestive. You could do however you want. I would say, however, if you do not want to run poisons on both bars, you could take it off the back bar here and then have that bow powered, which is nice. Gets you a little extra healing, but your healing's pretty good. It's good with the Vamp 3 and Pariah and our CP in place. We mitigate damage really well, so our healing can be a little weak. It is one of the weaker points of the build, but I could tell you that it's not an issue because we do just fine. On our head, we are running an infused blood spawn here. You can run anything with weapon damage if you would rather, if you want to get a little extra weapon damage out of it. I'm telling you that I do not struggle killing people. I don't even struggle killing tankier targets, to be honest with you. We just have to be aggressive and stay on them and keep that dot pressure going. And if we can keep that dot pressure going, not a lot of things are going to stay alive with this build. So even though the weapon damage looks mediocre, I can tell you through plenty of gameplay that we are killing people just fine. The whole point of this is to have good survivability, good sustain, and good weapon damage, and we have all of that. We have everything we need to be outnumbered and even solo with this build. We are running a Pariah chest infused as well with a health glyph. So we got 2 health glyphs here, and that's to help with our Arctic Blast, which we will get into a little bit later in the video, but we'll talk about that. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. And then of course we're running Plague Break on the rest of the body here. 1 in pen here, 1 in pen here, both stam glyphs. We are running 1 in pen here, stam glyph, and then for the legs we are running infused with a stam glyph. And then for the feet we are running 1 well fitted with a stam glyph here. And that's just to help a little bit with our roll dodging and our sprinting. Of course, you know me, I like to roll dodge and sprint. But we also have a couple of CP in place to help with that as well. Of course, you're going to run your 2 Pariah here. I got stam recovery here for both, and you could switch out here for weapon damage if you like, and you can see what you're gonna lose their and stand recovery. And actually, once you fully buff with a pot, that jumps up pretty high. So it's actually pretty good. You could do that too. You could put a weapon damage here. As you can see, I tend to rotate between the two. It just depends on the situation. If I'm in a group, I'm definitely going to run the weapon damage over the recovery. And of course, our final piece is Malakath. We have it infused with a weapon damage glyph. Alright, so with Vamp 3 comes the maintenance of being a Vamp 3, and we could talk about that. So like we said, we are running Bewitched Sugar Skulls. I used the Corrupting, and then I used the Purifying, and then I pop my skulls. Now you only have to do that for once for 4 hours, and then but you do have to do your Sugar Skulls twice. So for every one of these, you'll be doing 2 of these to keep yourself going. But Vamp 3 lasts 4 hours, which is really nice. But that's how I do it. And then, of course, for our potions, we are running those Tri-Stat potions. Your craftables or your crown Tri-Stats, whichever one you have available. Okay, for skills, we have some flex spots here, of course. As always, you can do it your way, and I'll do it my way. I mean, skills in a build video are just almost unnecessary because everybody's going to base their skills based on their playstyle, and you'll see that a lot in my build videos. And I get a lot of comments saying, hey, why don't you do this skill, why don't you do this skill, and why don't you do this skill? And I said, hey, why don't you do that skill if that's what you want, and just take my build video as like a guideline and not worry about too much of what I'm doing, because this is what works for me. It doesn't mean that it's going to work for you, which is cool. No big deal, just swap some stuff out. So I do run shuffle. It's nice. It does its job. Vigor, of course. Bullnetch, 100% not a flex spot. Every ward needs to run this. And then here's our big flex spot. Arctic Blast. Is it good? Is it not good? It's good. It's good. So a lot of people are like, oh, the heal's just not as good anymore. And you can see the tooltip there. It's not, it's not amazing, right? It's not anything like mind-blowing. It's not what it used to be, right? However, for me personally, this second spot here, while this effect persists, the wind's pulse outwards, dealing 1200 damage. That's not that big deal, but it's extra damage. Again, dot pressure. For 1 second, and nearby enemies hit by this effect 3 times are stunned for 4 seconds. Stunned for 4 seconds. Do you know what you can do on a Warden with 4 seconds of no pressure? I'm gonna pause here for a second. Just think about that. Okay, so is this skill good? If you're using it to set up your burst combo, yes. Yes, this skill's really good, actually. It gives you a heal. It's an okay heal. We have a lot of healing, though, so we don't need it per se for that heal. But that little 4-second window is huge on a Stamden, guys. Now, if you don't want to run Arctic Blast, you think it's trash or garbage or whatever, it's cool. You can put lots of things here. You can put your vines here, you could put your shimmering shield here, you could put your flare here for that major protection, which would be nice. Honestly, that just makes you that much more tanky. And then with Ice Fortress giving you the minor, you'd have major and minor, which is absolutely disgusting with Vamp 3 and Pariah. You can do that. That's good. You're going to lose your 4-second window, but you can do it. And it'll work. So Ice Fortress, like we said, gives you that minor, and then it gives you that resistance. So it's your buff. And then we are running Healing Thicket here because why not? It's a good oh shit button when you need it. It's super cheap, and it's nice to have on the back bar, of course. We are running Dawnbreaker. I don't think this is a flex spot at all. People think Dawnbreaker is just terrible on Stamden. Dawnbreaker just is another one of those windows. So, the damage itself is decent, but that stun, another 2-second window. So if your Arctic Blast is hitting their cooldown, and suddenly its effect wears off, but they're no longer on their CC cooldown, you just hit them with that Dawnbreaker, and now you have a 2-second window. And in a 2-second window, that's enough. Like if you set your combo up just right, that 2-second window when they're on the ground is plenty of time for that second sub assault to hit them, that plague break to hit them, and then your execute to hit them. So no panic there. I mean, if you do take your Arctic Blast off for whatever other flex you want, you still have this nice little stun on your front bar. Bird's Prey, of course, you want this. You get that minor berserk when it's slotted, but I honestly use it for the movement speed. As a dark elf and not a wood elf, we do lose a little bit of our movement speed. However, I've gotten plenty of whispers about how fast my build is, and then they're just surprised to know that I'm not running Wild Hunt, I'm not a wood elf, I'm not any of that. But there's a CP that I think broke the game, and we'll talk about that here in a second too. Don't worry about that. But yeah, so the movement speed is just really nice to have as a dark elf. Rally, of course, is our burst heal. It's just so good. You just can't. A lot of people are like, well, you got Betty, that'll proc your major brutality. Yes, yes, you're right. In your as far as that goes, we are double stacking there. However, Rally's heal is so good. Like it's been so clutch for me in so many situations that I just can't take it off. There's just no way. Reverse slice over executioner on a Stamden all day. I've really slowly but surely have gotten a lot of people to look in this direction, seeing how I do it, seeing how I've run it like this for a while now, and a lot of people have questioned it in the past, but I think they're starting to catch on because they're seeing the work it's doing, and with Plague Break, oh my gosh, you're like capable of taking out 3, 4 people with a couple of reverse slices. It's disgusting. And again, you've seen it in my gameplay, and it's one of those moments. Like you're like, oh, whoa, did that happen? And yeah, it did. And it's reverse slice. It's just doing so much work. And in a group, like in a group play, it's just a great finisher when your group gets in there and you start chunking people, like massive amounts of people, like 8 to 10 people, and your group's chunking them, and you're in the back with your sub assaults going off, and you see those low health players, and you start coming in with the reverse slice. Good night. Good night. That's all I got to say about that. All right, D-swing of course is our spammable. Everybody trashes D-swing, and they should, because in lag it's just terrible. I've seen people replace this with birds, and I think it's terrible. I don't want to do that. It doesn't look like fun to me at all. It just seems terrible. Off balance is always good. That 40% snare is really nice. Heavy weaves into dizzy swings is always a good combination. Feels so rewarding, right? And then of course our main damage, sub assault. Okay, so we'll jump into passives real quick. You're gonna want these. You want these, these of course. And your bow, you don't need any of them but hasty retreat. You can put them in there if you would like. That's fine. You just don't need them. So if you want to save skill points, go ahead. If you are running the Undaunted passive, which I have never unlocked in my life, which I know a lot of people give me credit or give me shit for, and that's fine. I deserve it. Yeah, of course you're gonna want these, but since we are not running Undaunted, we are running 5 and 2. So you want all of these, and then you're gonna want all of these. So for Vampire, you're going to want, of course, your Undeath. Everything else is just whatever. Fighters Guild, you want Slayer. Undaunted, if you have them. Assault. Support. Of course, you want your racial passives. And Alchemy, medicinal use is so huge and key. And people skip over this in their builds, and I don't get it. Alright. I always question whether I should put this in my build video or not, because I think CP, again, is so or it's really just how you guys want to slot these. However, I gotta tell you that in this particular build, the way I have my CP slotted is very dependable, right? Like, we're not doing anything crazy. It's dependable. Alright, for the blue tree, we have Ironclad, Duelist Rebuff, Unassailable, and Endless Endurance. You can drop Endless Endurance, of course. And if you do drop Endless Endurance, you're going to want Biting Aura. Okay? So that's really up to you. Sustain over damage. I just told you earlier in the video that our damage is perfect. It does its job. We have no problem killing people. But if you want that extra push, Biting Aura is where that extra push is going to come from. Like I like to have just that little bit of stam, because I don't know. Everybody's comfortable dropping it down to like 25, 26. I'm not there yet. But you can absolutely do it. I don't think sustain has ever been an issue for me. It's more like a comfort. Like it's like a warm, comfy blanket for me, right? I just like to have that sustain there for me. It's visually more appealing to me, I guess. The fact that I've even dropped down to 27 is crazy. I mean, if you know me and you've been with me for a while, you know that 30k was like my threshold. That's where I needed it to be. and the fact I've dropped down as low as I have is just shows you how much I've grown in the years. Okay, so let's move on to our red tree. For our red tree, this is the CP I'm talking about. Nobody's talking about how much this has broke the game. People just think it's, oh, this is not a big deal. 10% movement speed is not a big deal. No, you're wrong. 10% movement speed is something you've had to build into for years, right? And then with one update, you can just slot it in your CP tree, right? I mean, why is nobody talking about how AIDS this is? So rejuvenation, we'll stop talking about. Rejuvenation is a flex one. You could like swap this out for a lot of different ones. We're not going to get into it in this video, but there are some great CP you could switch these for. Again, for me, it's just like a comfort thing. Do I need this? 90 isn't really that much, right? Do I need it? Nah, probably not. Probably wasting my time here. But I like it. So that's why I always say do your own CP the way you want it. Don't follow this build. I'm just kind of showing you what I'm doing and why things are working for me. Fortified, again, do we need this? Debatable. I really like that extra padding. I think resistances are really important in this patch. More important than critical resistance, which we've also dropped quite a bit. As you've watched, even just last patch, I was still running a full set of Inpen. We've changed that since then. I've been convinced otherwise. So there you have it. And then Boundless Vitality. I think this is a really important one for your Warden. You want to get health wherever you can get it. And of course there is health in the passives as well, which is really nice. Make sure you pick those up. We're not going to go into full detail on the CP tree for sure. So you want Rationer, Warmount, Gifted Rider, and Steed's Blessing. Alright, that's going to conclude the build for the Stamden, and as you guys all know, I've been playing Stamden quite frequently, and I do love this class right now, and we've come full circle. The next video I will be releasing is my progression video, where we're going to jump back into time and look at my very first progression video, and then we're going to look at current video or current gameplay, and we're going to see how much I've grown as a player since switching over from a healer. Again guys, thank you for checking this video out. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, because that'd be awesome. It costs you nothing. And if you don't like future content that I release, you can always unsubscribe. No big deal. No harm, no foul, right? Hey! But I can tell you right now that if you just like having a good time and playing the game, and not being a soupy, oh my god. I've done videos before, right? If you don't want to be like a super sweaty 1vxer or super sweaty crown or super sweaty zergling on your siege, I'm your channel, man. We're here to have fun, and that's what it's all about. Alright guys, thanks again. Peace.